I caught a bug last week, so my voice is not going to be at its best as I lay out this list. Not a surprise to me, I caught the bug by kissing my wife, so it was totally worth it. You want to play Mass Effect, again, as you do, but maybe you're playing for the first time, and after 13 years since the finished trilogy, perhaps getting into it is a big mental hurdle. You hear that you can't just skip the first game, or worse, play each game without importing your character's save files. That's right, you can't do that. This trilogy is a beautiful commitment that you must uphold if you want to experience the best sci-fi saga playable today. Well, actually, this sci-fi game is better! Probably, shut up. If you're a perfectionist like me, you might think that there's a best canon version of Commander Shepard. Is he a man? Is she a woman? Does he have the default face, or does she have a custom face? Is he renegade? Is she Paragon? The important question is the very first question the game asks you, but it has less to do with customization and moral alignment. When you're deciding the starting character for Commander Shepard, what is his best background to play for the whole trilogy? And the answer is... thumbnail. They're all valid. There are no wrong answers here, only inconsistent role-playing. That is the name of the genre, after all, so these backgrounds are necessary for helping you craft that perfect Shepard roleplay. So what are they? The backgrounds are split into two groups of three: pre-service history and psychological profile. Together they combine into your Shepard's origin story. For pre-service history, this is your childhood. Did Shepard have a stable military family always moving on ships? Or did she grow up an orphan on Earth and learn to survive with the street gang? Or did he experience a horrific tragedy in the colonies when his family and village was pillaged by aliens? All of these are equally valid origins, but the psych profile is the real kicker. Was Shepard a strong, successful defender against an alien assault? Or was he the ruthless response sent to that assault, willing to sacrifice many if it meant the job was finished? Or was she caught in the snares of several sandworms that eliminated 50 Marines, sparing only Shepard? Again, all three are perfect profiles for why the story begins in the first place.
Well, what about Shepard? Shepard.
Rex?
There are three characters in this heard but unseen conversation. Ambassador Udina, Captain Anderson, and Admiral Hackett had been discussing who might be the best candidate for a special role. The player comes to find out that this role is the position of Spectre, which in universe is an alien organization with a human acronym, don't worry about it, something greater than a great soldier. The Spectres represent the Council, the unity of the Milky Way, and they are to do whatever it takes to protect the galaxy. That's what these men are talking about. The first dialogue of the game is directly influenced by your choices in the profile reconstruction, most notably the psych profiles.
He saw his whole unit die on a cruise. She got most of her unit killed on Torfin. He proved himself during the Blitz, held off enemy forces on the ground until reinforcements arrived.
The War Hero start gives the player unique dialogue at the end of this conversation that is unique from the other two backgrounds.
We can't question his courage.
Humanity needs a hero, and Shepard's the best we've got.
I'll make the call.
Udina will question the other two psych profiles, and Anderson will respond, both with the exact same lines and the exact same deliveries. But the purpose behind the question and answer will change based on the severity of Shepard's condition.
He could have some serious emotional scars.
Every soldier has scars. Shepard's a survivor.
Is that the kind of person we want protecting the galaxy?
That's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy.
Notice here how the concern is contextually about Shepard's mental state, a necessary question to ask if we're entrusting this Marine to greater responsibilities. Anderson's answer affirms that someone who went through the Soul Survivor's past is strong enough to make the hard choices and live with the consequences. That's the only kind of person that can protect the galaxy. But check out this context.
She got most of her unit killed on Torfin.
She gets the job done, no matter what the cost.
Is that the kind of person we want protecting the galaxy?
That's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy.
I'll make the call.
Same exact words, but now they mean something completely different. Anderson here says the only kind of person that can protect the galaxy is the one who will achieve victory no matter what the cost. Morals be compromised, but never the mission. In the greater context of fighting the Reapers, these three versions of the same discussion are equally valid too. War Hero Shepard, easy pick, the no-brainer candidate. Proved their worth with something big, can be entrusted to something bigger. Soul Survivor Shepard, focused and resilient. We need that fortitude of character for these major decisions to come. Ruthless Shepard? Yes, even this Shepard, if not especially this Shepard. For if the goal is to defeat the Reapers, who cares about what it takes so long as we can do it? They all make sense. They all work for a strong character, but just because they're equally valid, that does not mean that they are equally compelling. So, for the remainder of this video, I will be ranking the 9 combinations of Commander Shepard's background based on thematic and narrative strength. I will describe the likely story with each combination and apply a matching comic book character analog for conceptual reference. While I don't believe this needs to be said, this is all just my opinion, as the topic is mostly a matter of taste and preference, as the variations in thematic strength are slight. I argue that they're still there, so know this. If you disagree, I will heart your comment saying so, because again, everyone's valid here, especially number 9. Number 9? Number 9? One of these days, if I could get away with it, I would love to make a Beatles rock band video, but I can't. Number 9. Spacer War Hero. This background tells the story that a solid upbringing leads to a solid individual. It's Superman. And Superman is a story we thankfully got more of this year, because we kind of needed a shining example of this archetype, no thanks to the past decade and a half of darkness equals deep. Beyond perfect for a Paragon playthrough, Spacer War Hero Shepard is the obvious one who can stop these biotics without collateral damage, the one who defends the Alliance when Ashley accuses them of being suboptimal, and frankly, the one who is the opposite of Saren. Upstanding, inclusive, and wise, Shepard acquired these qualities from the surrounding military personnel growing up. The story could simply be, Shepard had good parents, and good parents produce good people. That's just true. It's not that deep, but it doesn't need to be. There's no need to struggle in the past, there's enough struggle to be had in the future. No, this Shepard validates the story that your story does not need to be the most dramatically epic tale that moves people because you suffered. You don't have to suffer to be valid, and you certainly don't have to suffer more to be more valid, which is an idea so strong that I'm saving it for another video. Stay tuned to find the hints. But you might be wondering, if this is number 9, why is my assessment so positive? Well, that's the reason I didn't do a tier list, because none of these backgrounds are lower than an A. Maybe a B, but for real, that's not comparable. However, the reason Spacer War Hero was on the bottom is because I feel like this combination generates a response in certain players that would want some kind of interesting struggle for Shep to overcome. It feels too perfect. Like when you see those options and you think, oh, well, that's the obvious choice, so I'm obviously not going to choose it. Which is not to say that this is the least popular option, the statistics say otherwise. I'm only saying that we tend to want our heroes to have overcome significant pain before we consider rooting for them. Not that a military upbringing comes with no pain. There was likely lots of discipline and order imposed by the Shepards on the future commander. Everyone has pain. We're all dealing with something, and Spacer War Hero Shep is no exception. The following backgrounds, however, are significantly more painful, and more pain is more interesting. Number 8. Colonist Ruthless. The Colonist Shepard saw their family artillery striked by Batarians, left for dead when under the rubble.
I fought. My whole family fought and got hit by an artillery strike for their trouble. I got buried under rubble. If they saw me, they left me for dead.
And they grew up to take the fight to the Batarians in the most lethal military manner. This Shepard is the Punisher.
I read about Mendoir. The Alliance screwed the pooch on that one. Should have had a bigger garrison. Is that why you're out here? To take the fight to the pirates?
I'm here to put hypervelocity rounds through the heads of bad guys.
Most satisfying part of the job, Commander.
She was only 6 when they took her. Why the hell are we out here if we can't even keep one little girl safe?
To make people who do these things pay. It's not the severity of punishment that deters crime. It's the certainty.
This is the Shepard that would fight Balak, dooming the scientists if it means that no more humans die by his hands. And they don't. Balak does not return in Mass Effect 3. A weaker, pettier Batarian takes his place, and the crimes are far more manageable.
I found one of the code locations.
Okay, I'll shut it down. Looks like someone was trying to requisition medical supplies. Someone used this to cut off power to a dozen life support machines in the hospital. Looks like they were tampering with emergency food requests at the refugee center.
Trying to get more food for themselves.
Holy crap. These are the remote navigation codes. Last week's crash at the docks, we thought it was an accident. Shepard, there were 117 Alliance soldiers on that ship.
You hit them and they get back up. I hit them and they stay down. It's permanent.
This Shepard has methods, and they work. As strong as the Shepard is, the reason I rank it only right after the purest Paragon is because the Punisher archetype is the purest renegade. As evil as you can be without aligning yourself with the bad guys. Now, technically, Earthborn Shepard has more renegade points than the Colonist, who has some Paragon. Earthborn had the hardest upbringing, but the Colonist suffered the heaviest trauma, and has the greatest reason for hating aliens, especially pirates. This makes the Ruthless connection all the more seamless. Of course he'd send so many Marines to their graves. That's how much he hates Batarian raiders. And because the Colonist Ruthless is so logical, so obvious, so shallow, that is why it's at number 8. Number 7, Earthborn War Hero. Earthborn Shepard is a scrappy, delinquent underdog. Combine that with War Hero and you have the story of a nobody orphan who becomes humanity's defender at a pivotal time.
Who are you supposed to be?
Captain America.
I'm Commander Shepard.
The game gives Earthborn all renegade and no Paragon bonus points to account for what being raised in the tough underbelly of society was like. It was likely stealing for food, dealing with criminals, then becoming a criminal for that stability. It also didn't help having little to no interactions with aliens, as that fact would make this Shepard far more susceptible to non-human bigotry. If this Shepard is a war hero, a paragon among men, there's room for regretting the past affiliations and making it right by doing right now. It also fits the Spider-Man archetype. This Shepard can look Finch in the face after refusing to convince the guard to release a member of the Reds from imprisonment. Earthborn War Hero Shepard has been corrupt before and will not be so anymore. He might still have a ghetto side, but his good side is greater. Honestly, this sounds way more like Spider-Man the more I unpack it, but maybe we can cross that verse when we get there.
Foreshadowing?
In the end, Earthborn War Hero is a good reputation builder with enough of a shady past to justify an occasional edge. But what if it's entirely edge? 6. Earthborn Ruthless. The Earthborn Ruthless grew up rough, most likely hating aliens while in their street gang, going on to send 3/4 of their whole squad to their deaths because those Batarian bastards deserved it. A purer renegade than the Colonist Ruthless, but higher on the list because of the political problem that this Shepard faces and represents. Humans are too hot-headed, too quick to demand respect and recognition.
You humans are creatures of action. You pursue your goals with an almost indomitable determination. It is an admirable trait, but also an intimidating one.
You can't argue with results.
No, but there are consequences. Unfortunately, the rest of the galaxy sees humanity as a bully. You run over anyone who gets in your way.
You seem to have a bit of a chip on your shoulder, Din.
You humans are new to the Citadel, and yet the Council has granted you great favor. The Earth Clan will be invited to the Council long before our species will.
I tried to warn you about Saren. You didn't believe me then, and look how that turned out.
I believe you humans have a saying. Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Here's another saying. Go to hell.
Maybe we were wrong about you, Shepard. Maybe humans are too hot-headed to be specters.
Pair that with the Commander's past gang affiliations and having the reputation of the Butcher of Torfin, and you have a Commander Shepard that could have regrets that he's trying to make up for, or apologies she will never make, or some other subtleties in between. To me, this Shepard is like the original Amanda Waller. A past involving some gang violence in a major city, in her case the loss of her son and daughter and then her husband, followed up by a government career built upon brutal calculations, eventually leading a team of freaks and murderers who will do what must be done to keep the world turning. Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe your little Suicide Squad taught me something about teamwork.
Nice.
She's not necessarily evil, but she is ruthless. While this is generally who the Earthborn Ruthless is, remember, alignment-wise, not all backgrounds are binding.
This may be who you are, but it is not who you will become. It only forms the basis for your future greatness.
A pure renegade past like this could be a compelling way to play a pure paragon. It adds to the atmosphere of the first act, where humans aren't trusted and need to work a little harder for respect. Why should we believe you?
Where's the evidence?
Will you prove them wrong, or prove them right and win anyways? The Earthborn Ruthless has great storytelling potential, but their pre-service history gives them a Citadel side mission that is not nearly as strong as this next Shepard's. 5. Colonist War Hero. The Shepard who suffered as a youth trains with the experts and uses that developed strength to rescue the innocent from invaders. This Shepard's tragedy became the trajectory for heroic victory. This Shepard is like Batman. Darkness had been dealt with, and now he dishes it for the sake of the light.
You're lucky to have a close family.
Sorry, I forgot about your family situation.
Or lack thereof. Relax, Williams. I've dealt with it.
This is the Shepard that speaks softly to Talitha, the little girl taken by slavers in the same raid that ended Shepard's family. She's now grown up and damaged, but not beyond recovery. Thugs and pirates are thoughtless fodder to the colonist war hero. There's even grounds for intimidating civilians if it means they come clean with their cover-ups.
I'm only gonna ask this once. Think long and hard before you lie to me again. Are you sure all you've got is one lousy pistol?
But there's more than enough goodness in this Shepard's heart to talk down a poor woman who wants to die and save her by helping her get through the trauma. This is a Shepard who turned his misery into motivation, so that others do not have to face the terrors of the Batarians.
She didn't fight. She was already broken when they put the wires in.
Talitha, you were what, 6 years old? No one blames you for staying quiet and hoping they'd go away. The only person blaming you is you.
As Red once said, could you picture this Batman comforting a scared child? If yes, congratulations.
This is a certified
Batman. If not, I'm afraid you instead have the Punisher and a silly hat.
Classic.
In my opinion, this is the most compelling the war hero Shepard can get. It's still strong, but there's the latter half of this list to consider. I think the rest of these Shepards are just a little bit stronger. 4. Spacer, Ruthless. I find this combination to be the funniest. The Shepard with a strong support structure and family bonds, only to grow up and become the kind of leader that sacrifices lives with no hesitation if it means the conflict is resolved. That's kind of funny. The closest analog I can conjure is Damian Wayne, a hero whose upbringing was all training and discipline, but a hero who's also a certified sociopath. Whatever needs doing, no matter the political or personal consequences, perhaps even at the expense of his own team. This is a mission comes first kind of Shepard, yet he still has a mom. That's just funny to me.
Thermal clips on the ground now. Power cells too.
Is that it?
What?
Vasir, I sacrificed hundreds of human lives to save the Destiny Ascension. I unleashed the Rachni on the galaxy. So for your sake, I hope your escape plan doesn't hinge on me hesitating to shoot a damn hostage. Hi, Mom.
Oh, honey.
But that's the reason this background is this high on the list. It's curious. I'd argue that while it's not the most sensible combination, it is the most complex and interesting background to give Shepard. But it is not the most compelling. The keen-eyed viewer will have noticed something about all the backgrounds mentioned and not mentioned. Number 3. Spacer, Sole Survivor. Consider the stability of an orderly military family, where your path of life is already carved out and where your mother is always there. Everything going according to plan until one day, the worms start fishing for you. It's the tale of a Shepard from an established family with a comfortable upbringing who suddenly had to survive and find their way out of the danger, losing everyone else around them, forging their resolve in the process. This is Iron Man. Like Stark, this Shepard didn't emerge victorious from the battle. This Shepard emerged alive from an overwhelming force, utilizing everything they learned growing up to survive. The Sole Survivor is not defined by a daring defense or a costly counterattack. The Sole Survivor is defined by their focus and resolve. Not success, resistance. This background is perfect for the hero who saw the vision of mass destruction and must prepare for the incoming invasion. He knows space, and he knows the stakes.
When you blew up the Batarian relay, hundreds of thousands of Batarians died.
Give me a break! I'm doing what has to be done to stave off something worse.
And assuming you've now put the pieces together, this ranking thus reveals that I find Sole Survivor to be the most compelling military history for all 3 childhoods for Shepard for all 3 games. This kind of hero, the rallying leader and force of influence, is not defined by their success rate versus their failures, but their response to failures, their reliability, their resistance, fortitude. That's who this is. Canonically, Commander Shepard is built different. How else could you explain how he resists indoctrination throughout the whole trilogy? It's not a plot hole. It's a defining characteristic.
Built different.
The one who will fight even when we know we cannot win.
I think the odds are against us.
When it comes to the survival of humanity, who gives a rat's ass about odds? We're gonna fight them.
We all knew this was likely a one-way trip.
I'll do whatever it takes to stop the collectors, but I plan to live to tell about it.
I'm glad you're in charge.
That's who you want at the CIC. But which Shepard would be the strongest sole survivor if I rank Spacer at number 3? Well, let's consider the Colonist and the Earthborn, pros and cons. The Colonist sole survivor went through the double dose of trauma and scars, 2 events that would break anyone, and yet this Shepard comes out on top, overcoming the worst life has to offer. It's a Shepard made up of 2 equally powerful watershed moments. On the other hand, there's one thematic haymaker that the Earthborn Shepard brings to the ring, and it's, well, being Earthborn. To be a scrappy kid on the human planet, stuck in the gangs, no parents to change course or settle elsewhere, this Shepard would long for the stars to see what's out there.
Let's see what's out there.
Is that why you're out here? To take the fight to the pirates?
No. The future of humanity is out here. There's so much we haven't seen yet.
Earthborn is the smallest Shepard. The nobody who becomes that not unbecoming man who strives with gods. First with gargantuan worms, and later with the Leviathan Cthulhu heads. The contrast of origin to outcome is strongest here. Survived on Earth, survived on Akuz. Whatever it takes, Shepard's a survivor. Like Wolverine. A rough adolescence and an even rougher life forward, capable of lashing out because of it, or protecting everyone in spite of it. Earthborn also gives greater reason to return to Earth in Mass Effect 3. It's more than the human homeworld, it's this human's home. It's where this Shepard started, and it's where this Shepard ends. Altogether, it's a very strong case for Earthborn. It's even the backstory for the quick start John Shepard, arguably the default option. So how can the Colonist compete? Well, let's again consider Earth. The Colonist is in part defined by their victimhood at age 16, where one day their home was attacked by an enemy from above, beyond the stars. People were either slaughtered or made slaves. Everything was chaos. Just like the start of Mass Effect 3. Mindwar was a taste of what the Reapers will do to the entirety of Earth. Not to mention all other homeworlds. So this Shepard comes pre-installed with the crisp grasp of the concept of how much suffering all races under the Reapers would go through. Shepard's past would haunt him, drive her, suffering with imagination that the Reaper invasion makes Mindwar a cakewalk by comparison. On a strictly gameplay level, the Colonist has the superior pre-service side mission on the Citadel, saving Talitha in I Remember Me, whereas Earthborn has the weakest assignment of the 3, according to the author of the quest himself. By the way, the Spacer's assignment is also strong, having the best world building, where they talk about Mindwar like the historical event that it is, but with a Shepard who didn't go through it. But Talitha did. And we only know that if we did also. When it comes to these unique side quests, the Earthborn is laughably threatened with a smear campaign, and the Spacer encounters an associate of your mom who needs serious emotional help, which, works well and is a fine mission, even though convincing an addict to get help is already a mission on the Citadel for all Shepards. But the Colonist's Citadel side mission is the one that, unlike the rest, gives us the opportunity to prove that this Marine has earned their place as Spectre. Not just because they're good at firing a gun, but also because they're good at preventing the firing of this gun. There's more to protecting the galaxy than killing dangerous people. It's about being the example of strength for those who believe themselves to be too weak to ever get better. By setting that example, they recover. By showing up, they grow stronger. You're not a hero that gets all the glory. You're the hero that makes other heroes. The message from Talitha in Mass Effect 2 proves Shepard's effect on her. She is getting better and doing well. And to top it all off, Talitha writes that she hopes for Shepard to continue saving people like her. Human colonists attacked by alien invaders. The exact mission of Mass Effect 2. For Mass Effect 3, the whole game is a macro version of what Shepard does in I Remember Me. You're not killing the problem over there and flying away. You are convincing the person who believes there is no hope that not only is there hope, but that they are stronger than they think they are, and with the help of everyone, we'll all make it through this. That's Commander Shepard. Shepard inspired a jaded mercenary to become the hopeful, uniting leader of his broken people. A fed-up cop to become the worst nightmare to the gangs of Omega, the meanest handful of violence and hate. Teacher of the Year. From a stolen little girl who almost forgot her own name to Talitha. The Colonist origin story reflects the greatest example of who Shepard really is. That is why, simply because I Remember Me is so strong, the most compelling Commander Shepard is the Colonist sole survivor. And as far as I'm concerned, there is no comic book analog for this archetype. Commander Shepard is this archetype. More than the person who, in both events, got to live to tell about it. This is the Shepard who inspires anyone and withstands anything. You couldn't ask for a better leader. That's the kind of person I want protecting the galaxy. Because that's the only kind of person who can protect the galaxy. Want to play out that story? Then make the call. Start or restart your playthrough of Mass Effect. That's all for now.
Shepard.
Rex.
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 Shepard.
Rex.